Hello and welcome to another environmentally friendly lesson of the Touring Teacher. Since the beginning of my travels, I have been very lucky. I've been able to see lots of the world. But that got me thinking, what are some of the ways that we can look after and take care of this wonderful world that we live on? So I haven't gone very far today. I wanted to stay a bit closer to home. So I'm still here in London. And today we're going to be talking all about sustainability. Now, sustainability is a pretty fancy word, but what does it mean? Well, let's look at the first part of the word, sustain. Sustain means to keep something going for a long time. And the second part of the word is ability. And that means that you're very able to do something. So put them all together, sustainability means that you're very good at being able to keep something going for a long time. And it's not just any old thing, it's this magnificent planet that we live on. For more information about this wonderful planet that we live on and its excellent resources, have a look at our conservation lesson as well. Recycling. That may be a word that you've heard many times before, but you might not realize just how important it actually is. Recycling is when you take something that has already been used and then you use it for the same thing, or you use it to create something new. Let's take that milk bottle that you put in the recycling bin, for instance. Because you put it in the recycling bin, it's not going to end up in a rubbish dump. It's going to end up in a recycling centre. And in that recycling centre, all the plastic is grouped together. Then all the plastic is broken down and made into a plastic pellet. Then the plastic pellet is taken back to the bottle making factory where they can make new bottles. That way nothing is wasted and no resources have been taken. We've just reused them. Now we can't talk about recycling without mentioning the other two R's. Reduce and reuse. Tell the person next to you what you think those two words might mean. Well, simply, reduce means to use less of something. So every time that you go to the supermarket, rather than getting a plastic bag, you can just take your own bag and then reduce the amount of plastic bags that are used. Reuse means to reuse the same thing, use it again. So instead of throwing away that unused worksheet, use it as scrap paper. And then when everything's filled out on the back and there's no more room, you can put it in the recycling bin. It all comes back together. Let's have a think about plastic. In a supermarket, what items can you name that are packaged in plastic? There's soft drink bottles, ice cream containers, bread bags, cereal packets, meat, and in some supermarkets, the fruit and vegetables are packaged in plastic bags as well. What's the point in that? You may be wondering if plastic is a bad thing. Plastic is a wonderful invention, but it does have some negative side effects. To make plastic, you have to use some of the Earth's non-renewable resources. And when we overuse plastic, it puts stresses on the planet. Plastic takes thousands of years to break down. So that plastic bag that wasn't recycled properly is out floating in the ocean, ready to be eaten or to trap an animal. So help all starts with you. Reduce the amount of plastic that you use. Reuse the plastic and paper that you already have, and when you've already done enough with what you have, recycle. How easy is that? Right, I've set myself a challenge. Now that we know a little bit more about what recycling is and what it means to recycle, let's put London to the test. I'm right beside the River Thames. I'm going to take a nice stroll along its banks, through Victoria, past the Queen's house, and end up in Hyde Park. Along the way, I'm going to see how many recycling bins, how many regular bins, and how many pieces of recyclable litter I can find. Okay, are you ready? Let's go! Well, that was a very interesting walk. I saw 31 recycling bins, 19 regular bins, but I saw hundreds and hundreds of pieces of perfectly recyclable bits around, not to mention all the other litter. Now, it's great that I saw so many recycling bins while we're out and about. It lets people dispose of their bottles and cans exactly how they're meant to. But I'm sure there are some other cities that are doing really well at letting people recycle while they're walking around town. I want you to pause the video here and have a discussion about how you think we could do it better in London, or maybe even the city that you're in. I'll give you a hint. One city has like a reverse vending machine. You put any recycling materials in and money comes out. What a good idea. Okay, so we are inside so we can do this next activity. At the supermarket, I see people all the time that come in with nothing and they get new plastic bags every single shopping trip. But wouldn't it be amazing if people could take their own bags and then reuse them all the time? That would save all the plastic bags that have to be made for those people. So that's exactly what we are doing today. We're going to make our own tote bags out of an old pillowcase. So, for this activity, you'll need to reuse an old pillowcase that you have, you'll need some scissors, and you'll need something for the strap. You could use old fabric, strips of old material. What I've done is I've taken some wool and I've put it into lots of strips to make it thicker, so it's a bit more comfortable on my shoulder. Should we get started? Alright, so the very first thing you need to do is open up the pillowcase and have the open end facing you. Then you're going to pull it down and take the open end to about halfway. So this bit here will become the flap to cover up. Right, now the next part is the trickiest bit that you need to make sure that you do properly. Your teacher may need to help you with this. So you take your scissors and you're going to make 2 holes. Make sure it goes through all of the fabric. There we go, perfect, peekaboo. Then I need to do one on the back bit. There we go. Make sure you're not going to cut through the fabric here, because then your wool or whatever you use won't hold properly. Perfect. Now I have 2 holes on each side. Now for my fabric piece. Now I'm putting the wool through the hole at the front, and then I'll also put it through the one at the back, and I'll go through the back part so it can meet together. Okay, so now I'm tying the wool together. Da, 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 da. Right, I'm going to do 3 knots just to make sure it stays. Now the same for the other side. Right, now I can put this bit over here, and my tote bag is finished. Now, one thing to be careful about. Inside this part is where you put all your items. But because it's a pillowcase, you have to be a bit careful because there is a gap at the back. So if you're putting anything in there, it's probably going to fall out. So make sure that you put it in this open mouth bit here. I really like this color and this color together, but you might want something a little bit more colorful. So you could use a sponge or a paintbrush or anything to make any amazing patterns on your tote bag to make it a little bit more individual to you. I think it's time for me to go and use this tote bag at the supermarket. Okay guys, thanks for coming along with me on this sustainable adventure. Please let me know what you and your class are doing to let this world have a sustainable future. I love hearing from you all. See you soon! Thanks for watching! Why not continue learning by clicking on one of these lesson videos? And make sure to click that subscribe button. Happy travels!